You know, as fun as it is to call the rather niche part of the FNAF community that is FNAF Scratch a dumpster fire, there are some genuinely good gems that appear every once in a while that really manages to stand above the rest of the burning trash heap. One game, or rather series of games, that has managed to pull this off with relative success with nearly every single release is the Hide to Survive series of games. There's no denying that within this medium of FNAF fan games anyway, that the Hide to Survive games are really nothing to be scoffed at. Not to mention, the pretty rapid progression in terms of quality between each release is another fairly impressive aspect of it all. The most recent release, Hide to Survive 2021, is not the game we're going to be taking a look at today. Welcome to Hide to Survive, the original. Today we're going to be making a few observations about this rather well-known game in the community. Something I'm sure the creator of Hide to Survive is not exactly going to like, but hey, since when have I cared about stuff like that? Coming up on its second anniversary in just a month or so, this game gained a lot of fame on its initial release after, let's be honest, Biscuit Dog did its whole set of videos on the game. That's not the important thing here. I mean, considering my history, I can't exactly criticize Chuck's games for this. Lest I be called a hypocrite online by, random strangers. So, whatever. But hey, maybe there's some level of merit in this legacy edition of a now improved game. So let's boot this thing up and, welcome to the longest game intro I've seen in a long time. I mean, come on, this has to be like a solid minute of just made in Scratch. And it's like, no way! The game I'm playing on the Scratch website was made in Scratch. It's crazy. That's insane. Anyway, I'll stop padding up for time. Let's take a look at the menu. As you can see, Rabby's pretty clearly tripping on fentanyl or something here. But the rest of the menu is pretty decent, I guess. Not a big fan of the parallax, but the dust particles are nice. Let's ignore the help menu because I really don't care about that, and let's jump into the meat of this game. Going into this game, we get pretty much the only expedition we're going to get this whole experience, so buckle up, boys, because Rabby animatronic now stored in safe facility. That's right, the infamous Rabby animatronic is now in a safe and secure facility, and I don't care enough to read the rest of this. The point of this is that some robot killed some kid, and it was moved to some factory to safeguard it. Pretty classic FNAF fan game plotline, if I do say so myself. Welcome to the office. From face value, we can see from our perspective, this game is, well, it's got a few problems, I'll say that. The office is pretty much the only remotely good-looking thing in the game, or honestly the only thing in the game that actually has some level of substance to it. All of the cameras are pretty much empty and look the same with the exception of course, this red little cretin. Speaking of Rabby, when it comes to gameplay, you'll see him traversing the lovely catalog of 4 empty cameras until he eventually reaches your door. In the office, to counter him, you have 2 tools at your disposal, the 2 obvious shock buttons to above the left and right doors, which, let's be honest, if you don't know what they do, you might be a little dense. And of course, there's also the ability to light up both hallways using the Q and E keys. A little weird, I guess, but I guess it was just too difficult to add in 2 buttons. Additionally, you can press the S key to completely destroy your office mid-game because there's clearly nothing stopping you in the game from trying to skip the intro when it's already over and you're already playing the game. In fact, quick second thought, just don't press the S key in general because it kind of happens to be broken during the intro as well and just keeps playing the intro sequence music during the menu. So it is what it is. Now that we're equipped with the knowledge of how to play a 2-year-old FNAF fan game, let's try this thing out. The gameplay here mostly plays out as a repeated back and forth with the cameras being mostly useless. I mean, really, all you need to do is span the lights, wait for Rabby to appear at one of the doors, and then teleport to the other one half the time, because I guess he can do that. And then whatever door he appears at, you shock him. Oh yeah, plus you gotta keep track of the oxygen. Did I mention that? To prevent this game from being a total dumpster fire, I guess the creator had a little bit of foresight to include a secondary aspect of the gameplay, which takes place in the form of a rapidly plummeting oxygen meter on camera 2, that you need to attend to pretty regularly. Also, quick side tangent, this camera map is god-awful. I mean, I guess I should be the one talking here considering some of the games I've made, but like, this is literally just a square with 3 hallways and an extra room sticking out of it. What kind of architect designed this hellhole? Like, the hell? And yeah, that's it. The entire gameplay revolves around finding Ravi at the doors and shocking him, then pumping up the oxygen. Rinse and repeat until 6 AM and you've got yourself a game. You know, despite everything, I would consider this fairly average even in the modern day, considering the amount of FNAF fan games that contribute this level of quality, or even less, that exist on the Scratch website. And I mean, I guess that's the charm this game provides if you really want to look at it that way. Because in a way, it's kind of like a look back at the older generations of FNAF games that existed on this site before 2020, just made in this style and using assets present on the site as of 2020. Which, now that I'm saying that out loud, kind of sounds weird that there's generations of Scratch FNAF games, but it's true. Wrapping up the game, we're welcomed to a cutscene of a night guard clearly enjoying his stay, his well-deserved rest in his bed, after doing the same thing over and over again for like 5 or so minutes. And, you know, Ravi's there because this wouldn't be a FNAF fan game without a cutscene of the animatronics hunting down the night guard after hours. Oddly specific, but this happens more than you'd think. Besides this, what is there to say about this game? Well, not really much. There is this so-called secret ending that exists in the game when you press some random combination of keys in the office. Clearly some poorly done attempt at humor. A little disappointing, even, speaking as the comedic genius that I am with my years of expertise in judging humor. This is just a tad bit unfunny. What can I say? So, what do I think of this game? It's alright, I guess. I mean, I'd be lying if I said that literally every single How to Survive game that has come out since wasn't better than this, but, you know, it's got its own things to offer. Like I was saying earlier, I guess the real charm in this game is the unique perspective it offers of FNAF Scratch games and how they were made at the time, as well as the improvement of the developer behind it. So, maybe, just maybe, the original How to Survive is good in its own unique way. Even if the gameplay itself is really repetitive, I mean, what FNAF fan game isn't? So, is it fair to say that this game is bad? Honestly, I think it's pretty decent. That's a lie, by the way. This game sucks. Go play the remake.